Hello and welcome to Business at Citywatch. I'm your host, Michael. We're going to be speaking with Natalie Oldfield today about several things in business, most of them concerning trust. I'm interested in that because most of the people that talk to me are asking me, how do I get my business started on the right foot? And it would seem to me like trust would be helpful with that. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
We're going to talk about you. You've been in business over 10 years. Your business is called Success Through Trust. And tell me about your book. It's The Power of Trust, and then there's a small subtext to that.
Yes, my book is called The Power of Trust, How Top Companies Build, Manage, and Protect It. It's on Amazon, and it was written for business owners and leaders to learn a step-by-step process, and it's a toolkit, if you will. I really believe that trust is a skill that you can learn, and the framework that I built is based on science and evidence. So when you follow it and apply the principles, Michael, you build trust with your customers.
Now let's talk about trust. Now, like you, I'm sure I took the business courses that talk to you about productivity, talk to you about client relationships, and all of that. What I'm concerned with is the last couple of years, we haven't heard a lot about trust in business. Most of the people I talk to are saying things like, well, I just have to make sure that I have a product. If the product's on the shelf, the customer's going to come in, buy the product, and as long as I advertise right, who cares whether the client trusts me or not? Tell me, and tell the people listening, why trust is a factor here.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. It is the most important thing that every business owner, new or old, should be focused on, because we all decide to buy based on who we trust, based on if we trust the company or not. Worldwide, 80% of us buy products and services from companies we trust. And you're absolutely right, Michael. People are not talking about it in schools. In fact, they're not focused on it. However, it's actually the one skill that can change the trajectory of your company's success. When you have the trust of your customers, not only does it drive sales and revenue, but it also drives repeat business and additional purchases and loyalty. So I actually work with a lot of business owners and leaders who don't ever learn these skills in college or university, but they're finding that when they have to go in front of a client, they need to have these, what I would call core skills. Lots of people call soft skills, the skills to interact effectively with clients and build trust. And like I said, it is the most important skill and the most critical asset a business can have, regardless of what stage they're in, because you can have the best mousetrap, if you will. You can have the best features and functions in your product or the best service, but at the end of the day, we all decide to buy based on trust. Then we look at the product, then we look at the capability. Trust comes first.
Okay. Now we're talking about trust. I think what I'll do is I'm going to take our first break here and then come back and talk about building trust among clients or among customers or both. And we'll do that right after this. Citywatch on the Air, heard locally and worldwide on iHeartRadio.com, takes you through the ins and outs of business, exactly what your business needs to showcase your product or service. And we can do it for as little as $10 a week. If you don't believe me, text PROVE IT to 310-291-2790. That's PROVE IT to 310-291-2790. Okay, we are back with Natalie Oldfield, Success Through Trust. And we were talking before the break, Natalie, about building trust amongst clients and customers. And I posed before the idea that people weren't really concerned with whether or not they trust you. They just want to make sure the product's on the shelf so they can come up and buy it. They buy it, they go away, they come back, it's there again. That's all the trust they need. You're saying that more is necessary, that in order to keep your business going, you have to have an extra factor on that. Tell me about that.
100%. You know, when you have trust, you have repeat business from your best clients. Your customers are more engaged and they're more loyal, and we pay more for products and services that we trust. So if you think about coffee as an example, Michael, many people around the world, billions, drink coffee. I like coffee. Well, I go to a local coffee shop because I trust them. The product's great. The service is great. Well, if they change that service, I may not go back there. The most critical asset a company has. In a B2B or a more professional setting, I want to buy a product that I know is trusted and the service is going to do what you say it's going to do. It's actually the most important thing.
Now, doing that, you're going to have to establish the trust factor we talked about amongst your clients or amongst customers. You're also going to have to get that instilled into your employees, the people who are going to be servicing the customers, giving the customers what they want and keeping that stock on the shelf. How do you do that? How do you sit down with, say, a 16-year-old or 17-year-old or 18-year-old who's, just trying to get a summer job or a college job, and let them know that they're going to have to throw out this feeling of trust among people who are probably older than they are, who probably don't share a lot of things with them. How do you go about letting them know that this is what they've got to do?
Well, that's a great question. Whether you're 15, 16, starting a summer job, or later in life, instilling and teaching people how to build a relationship of trust is critical to their success and to the company that they work with success. And we do this in a very systematic way. So we have a program called the Trusted Advisor Certification that actually takes people through a step-by-step process. And it really starts with a mindset that we're all in business to serve a customer. And so in the model that I share with people, it starts with having a focus on the customer and serving the customer and providing value and helping a customer. So if you're 16, if I sat down with a 16-year-old who's starting a job, say in a professional services firm, and they're doing administrative work to help people give better advice, I would start with sharing the company's purpose, why they're doing all this, what they're doing for the customer, and then I would take some time to explain. And trust starts with connecting with the customer. It starts with listening, Michael, and teaching people the importance of listening and understanding someone else's situation and helping them empathize with a customer. You see, when we have empathy and we're able to empathize with the customer, we're on our way to building a relationship of trust with them.
Okay, that sounds good, and that sounds like a good place to take our second break with. We'll come back and then maybe take a little bit about building trust business to business. We'll do that right after this. Citywatch on the Air, heard locally and worldwide on iHeartRadio.com, takes you through the ins and outs of business, exactly what your business needs to showcase your product or service. And we can do it for as little as $10 a week. If you don't believe me, text PROVE IT to 310-291-2790. That's PROVE IT to 310-291-2790. Okay, we are back with Natalie Oldfield, Success Through Trust. We've been talking the last few minutes about building trust amongst your clients, building trust amongst your employees. Now let's talk a little bit about building trust between your business and other businesses, other vendors, other people that you would do business with, things like that. How do you approach somebody that you want to hire as a vendor or somebody that you want to hire your business for something, and let them know that you are the kind of business that they can work with, that they can depend on, that you're not just a guy or a lady who's going to be here 5 minutes and 5 minutes from now they're going to be gone?
Great question. My business, Success Through Trust, actually focuses on business to business. So I love that you're asking this, Michael. It really starts with showing that you are going to act in the other business's best interest, for the other person's best interest. And in business-to-business relationships, it's very much like individual to individual. It actually comes down to the people. We actually put our trust in another person. And when people ask me this question, I say, just remember that fundamental truth. We're actually building relationships with trust with other people. And so for a business, what I would recommend is that they make sure everyone on the team is focused on the customer and knows how to build a relationship of trust with the customer. So as an example, if you're a software company, say you're a cybersecurity firm, and you have a group of highly technical people who are monitoring networks for other businesses. Well, if I'm a customer calling in, I want to make sure that whoever I talk to on the telephone is empathetic and understands and is very in tune with what it means to me as my business if I have a cybersecurity threat. And because let's face it, no one wants to learn that their network has just been hacked, and they don't want to call someone who thinks, oh, well, it's no big deal. Right. So when you are building a relationship of trust in business to business, it really starts with making sure you understand the other business's situation and what it's really like to be in their shoes. And it starts with listening and truly understanding what's happening to them. And, as an example, I worked with a client in this industry, a cybersecurity company, and he said, we're losing clients and we don't really understand why. We had great market share and now we're losing clients. So I listened in on some of their calls and talked to some of their customers. And what I found is that no wonder they were, because the technical team didn't really have the skills to build confidence in their customers. And so over several months, a number of people in their company learned how to build relationships of trust. And what happened was the customers, other businesses, they said, okay, they get us. They're acting in our best interest. They're delivering on their promises. They're committed to us. They're acting with integrity. Okay. And so it takes all of these things. It's really, it's about how we communicate, Michael, how we behave, and how we serve the customer.
Okay, thank you so much, Natalie. I want to tell you, it's been wonderful talking with you. Unfortunately, like everything else that's good, we've managed to run out of time. Let me say this. I'd like to ask you back again maybe another time and we can finish this. In the meantime, those who would like to get in touch with you and ask you more questions, how would they do that?
2 ways. Go to LinkedIn, Natalie Doyle Oldfield, or my website, successthroughtrust.com.
Okay, great. All right, Natalie Oldfield, Success Through Trust. I thank you so much for being with us on City Watch.
Thank you, Michael.
Remember, believe in yourself. If you don't, no one else will, and we will see you next time.